If you're an investor and you invest money into people's projects, deals, and things like that, I have 3 huge tips for you to minimize the chances of that going to zero or getting hurt if that investment fails. My name is Jason Wojo. I run a company called Lifeonaire. Our whole mission is to help overworked business owners reclaim their lives without sacrificing business success. And we just got back from our annual summit. This is a time where all of our Lifeonaires, all the people in our membership program, it's about 200 something people, get together in one place. And I heard story after story of people that got burned, people that got hurt, people that lost money in deals. And I've whittled down the 3 most powerful common themes for the reason for this. The first one is this: each person put their money into something where they had no control. So control is the first thing here, or lack of control thereof. And so when you don't control the decisions, when you don't have a majority stake in the business, like you are at the whims, you're at the mercy of the people that make the calls. And in each of these cases, each of the investors did not have decision-making power. And so you got to really make sure that you have the ability to call the shots, or at least influence the shots that are being made, and make a good case for why you should or shouldn't do things, rather than be at the complete mercy of people that are doing this. Because oftentimes you got to recognize, like, the people that are making the calls, like, they may be vested in that property or that deal or that syndication or whatever it is. But many times they've already gotten paid at the start of that deal as part of how they've structured the raising of the funds. And so if they raise a couple $1,000,000, they might pull off a couple $100,000 for themselves for putting the deal together. And so they don't always have the best incentives to continue making the hard calls when it comes to what's best for the investors. And so control is one huge thing that I saw. The second thing is security. Like, many times when you invest in things like syndications and things like that, and by the way, there's nothing wrong with syndications. I want to make sure I'm clear, but I want to make sure you understand what you're getting yourself into. Like, there's oftentimes, like, you're in this bunch with other investors, and you might have a generalized, hopefully, note or mortgage against that property, but you might not. You might just have ownership in an LLC. Now, that LLC might own the company, but there's not really any recourse of anything you can pull. You don't have a first lien position. You don't have any way to really, exert leverage if you need to get your money out or if things are going sideways. And so, like, I am very much against, at least for my own personal investing, like investing unless I have security, right? And so, like, I would encourage you to have that same option, and really make sure that you have your way of getting your money back. And now, listen, if the world goes sideways, like, you at least want a way to get your principal back, but ideally it's also your profits too. And so number 2 is security. Make sure you are secured. If you're in a second position mortgage, for instance, like, you do have a little bit more vulnerability and a little more risk, and unsecured, of course, is the most risky of all. So make sure you're getting compensated for that appropriately. And so, like, really, really do your due diligence with this to make sure that you're secure and you have something of value, whether maybe it's a personal guarantee, maybe you have someone's personal assets like that are going to guarantee it, or their house or something like that. Like, you just want to find security whenever you can. And the third thing that I recognize, the common theme about people losing their money, is they got invested into things that they knew nothing about. Like, they, like oil or gas, or they're doing something in crypto, and like they're doing something in the blockchain, or it's just any area outside of their expertise. And, this is where diversification is viewed as a good thing. But the longer I do this, the more I recognize, and at least my personal opinion is, diversification can be really dangerous, because unless you're diversifying into things that you really have expertise in, you're a little bit flying blind, and you're relying on other people to make assessments for you and make judgment calls, which you may not quite be qualified to really assess and judge and make an informed decision. So, like, unless you're an expert in like precious metals and mining, or unless you're an expert in, oil and gas reserves, or whatever that investment is, like, I'd really encourage you to think twice about doing that. And instead, like, where can you find areas of investment that are adjacent to or directly within your area of expertise? And those would be the best ones that you will be most successful and most likely, even if it's not sexy. Like, listen, I get it. Like, there's so many sexy things out there. Like, oh, I'm going to do NFTs. I'm like, listen, like, I've seen so many people get burned, and I'm not even talking about like Ponzi schemes, because those are out there too. Like, I know people that have gotten wrapped up in some of those too. Like, but even if it's a legitimate business, like, unless you can make an informed decision, like you're really at a disadvantage. Okay. So again, those three, number one is control. Like, do you have control over the deal? Number two is security. Are you secured if this thing goes sideways? Number three is like, is this in your area of expertise? Hope you find this valuable. More than that, I hope it really saves you from losing money somewhere. If you have a horror story, if you have an investment that didn't go well, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Put it in the chat, or in the comments rather, and let me know so that others can learn from that as well. Like, one of the things I'm really passionate about is collective genius and allowing people to kind of learn from each other. And this is even what Lifeonaire is built on too. But like, put it in the chat and put it in the comments, and let other people hear about that so they don't make the same mistakes. All right, we'll see you in the next video.